Alright, so yeah, part two.
Yeah, we're actually going to continue on with our discussion with 2012. There's a lot of points in this whole topic head, and when you get into it, it breaches many different areas. But right now, let's focus on why it's so effective at getting the human minds and consciousness attention right at this point. Truthfully, it's probably scary as hell to most of us because we're at that point where we actually kind of see the world in a destructive state, self-destructive state, I should say. We're starting to see our religious institutes may have been lying to us, may have been kind of coding this theory they have and putting it into a political format. And we're seeing that this is just adding to a detrimental state of our human existence right now. We're seeing the conflict that builds. So in one way, this 2012 movie is actually a reflection of the human state right now. And right now, actually, if there was something that was going to go wrong, we can see that the US government might do something as crazy as making it seem like it's just a movie. And they've done this lottery experiment where you can actually go to this 2012 website. I think it's called the IHC. I forget what it stands for, but you can actually put your name into a lottery and be pulled, and you could have a chance of living in this underground base. Just the realism behind that, just the fact that if they had scientific evidence about a planet that was in or on its way, but they might do something as crazy as covering up with a lie and sugarcoating it and trying just see what happens and trying to smooth out the emotions, as you can say. You see this in the past reflected in the War of the Worlds experiment, that social experiment where they saw what would happen if they theoretically had an alien invasion and announced that to the country just to see what would happen.
H.G. Wells?
Yeah.
Is that what that was? Who was behind H.G. Wells, though? Stop coughing.
Yeah, God. We should really look into who was behind these novels. You should look into who was behind all these experiments. You'll actually find that there was quite a bit of military influence and that there was people actually looking and seeing this for what it was. What are you laughing at?
If you need to cough, just cough. You're like holding back your cough.
Here we're having this serious discussion on the end of the world, and we're joking about it, but really, like Brendan was saying, I personally, and he personally does not feel that this is the end of the world scenario.
Now, it's not to say that nothing drastic might happen. Something drastic may happen. And this isn't just me being like paranoid. That's the thing. Like, I don't want to go off on a tangent. For one thing, I'm not prepared to go on a tangent, but at the same time, I don't want to make it sound like as if I'm spewing conspiracy nonsense. I don't want to sound like Alex Jones.
Okay.
For anyone who's unfamiliar with Alex Jones, feel free to check out Alex Jones's website. But I mean, again, like, Alex Jones is a fear-mongering guy. Like,
it's undeniable, guys. You can't say otherwise.
Oh yeah.
Just
like,
take 30 seconds and listen to any interview, and
yeah,
you know what, I love a lot of his topics he talks about, and like I said at the very beginning, listen, you don't have to digest it. I don't digest half the crap, but you know what, you're only doing yourself harm if you're just closing your ears.
Yeah, like some people they say like, oh, Alex Jones, you opened up my eyes, and they literally consider what Alex Jones is presenting to them as like this new way of life, you know, and they literally just like listen to his radio station 24/7, so to speak. And I mean, that's the thing. Like, I'm familiar with Alex Jones. Alex Jones, like, is one of the first people I researched who provided information in the sense of, like, one of the first things I remember was like Bohemian Grove, which was ridiculous in the sense. For those of you who don't know Bohemian Grove, I guess I can provide a link there. But basically, what I'm trying to say is that this doomsday thing with 2012 and stuff like that, it's interesting because, I mean, some people think that, so we're like, well, what if something does happen And then what if it's kind of like a test, so that those who are left are those who deserve to be there in a sense and can kind of like rebuild a new society. That's not going to say that, like, that's the result of like an asteroid happening, but I mean, still, and like, this isn't to get off topic, but like, look at swine flu. Like, look at what theoretically could happen if some sort of disease or virus were to like wipe out the majority of the population. Not to say that yes, swine flu will do this, but to say that look at how the government would handle a situation like that. They would like put people in camps. They would like restrict like movements through like border to border and stuff like that. They would really just like create like a police state, so to speak. And this is kind of what Alex Jones is talking about. He's talking about this, just like this totalitarian dictatorship bringing itself into power as a necessary means to control the remaining population. And then at that point, it's like, well, where does that leave room for spiritual enlightenment, so to speak, like that? Because I mean, that's a lot of stuff that we're talking about with 2012. 2012 is an opportunity for people to change the way they think. And again, like we're talking about 2012, but we really haven't even gotten into what it is, because we haven't gotten into what consciousness is. And the only thing that makes me hesitant to get into the discussion about what I really think 2012 is about is because we haven't discussed consciousness. So I think at this point, if you haven't checked out our discussion on consciousness, feel free to do that now. But again, this movie's coming out. People have their opinion on it. There are going to be people who are just going to take the sheep mentality and just see it for what it is and forget about it. Literally enjoy the special effects, and then just, like I said, be like, it's another Y2K, it's not going to happen, and it's not my concern, and just go about their lives and think nothing of it, so to speak.
You know, we're not here to judge those people.
No, like, not at all. Like, that's like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, any of those people, whether or not they know they're those people or not, by all means, like, do yourself a favor and feel free to engage. Because I mean, that's the thing. Like, we're not criticizing anyone. Like, we're not blaming anyone. Like, if we're blaming people, we can start by just blaming school institutions for like destroying creativity at such a young age. You know, and that's literally like a whole different discussion in itself. But yeah,
is it ever?
Is it ever? Is it ever? I don't know how much time we have left in this video. I mean, still, we should try and keep it somewhat short. Do you want to say something else?
God, still 2012. Where do you start? Honestly, it's no script, so honestly, it's really, really hard to pinpoint a point and stick with it. You will notice we're going off on a tangent, but this topic is like an umbrella for hundreds and thousands of different theories and opinions, and God, you guys will drive yourself nuts if you take this approach and try to figure out all in one night.
Yeah, like, I think if there's one thing that we can say from this, guys, I mean, understand that potentially what we're encouraging you to do is take the red pill. We're encouraging you to go down the rabbit hole. What we're trying to discourage you from doing is going down the rabbit hole of 2012 as the media presents it. Because like I said, like that is a clusterfuck. In a sense, like, there is so much information out there. It's just like, you just can't say for certain this is how it is until you've kind of been elsewhere, then return to what 2012 is. So again, like, I don't mind starting off at 2012 to say that we will return to it at a later date, so to speak. So understand that if you want to look into 2012, by all means do it. Understand that, yes, we will return to it as we delve into further discussion, and hopefully by the time we've discussed more topics in detail, 2012 will actually start to make sense. Now, some person actually said this to me. They're like, so wait, what is this group? What is this community? Is this like a 2012 survival group? And I'm like, and I just laughed, right? Because I mean, like, I'm not calling it that myself. I wouldn't call it that myself. But at the same time, it's not entirely untrue in the sense of the information that we will present to you will help you survive the critical onslaught necessary as you move towards 2012. Because seriously, like, I'll put my money down on the fact that stuff will happen, quote unquote. Stuff will happen, whatever that stuff may be. I don't know, but understand that if you're just gonna take the sheep mentality, it's not going to get you too far. Like I said, ask questions. Don't simply accept answers. Understand that the media isn't giving you everything you need to know.
And you know what? Just because other people are scared and live in fear, we mentioned this right at the start, doesn't mean you have to, alright?
Word up.